Hey everybody, it's George Maori here, head coach Athletic Revolution Matthews, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a special gift, a video of a movement skill that I feel is not being seen enough in our young athletes, whether it hasn't been taught properly or whether kids just aren't understanding how to do it. I'm going to go over the movement and then give you guys a few cues that I have found to work in my facility to help kids understand how to do the movement efficiently. The movement I'm talking about is called the hip hinge. Now, the hip hinge is a very important movement for many reasons. One, teaches the athletes how to use your hips more so than your lower back or your quads. Common complaints with young athletes today, especially my high school athletes that come into my facility and we're starting to do lifts, is that their lower back or their knees hurt after doing certain exercises, when really they should be talking about their glutes or their hamstrings feeling the effects of the exercise. Exercises that utilize the hip hinge there's many. A lot of the Olympic lifts, basically any form of a deadlift, whether it's an RDL, a straight leg, from the ground, kettlebell swings, jumping, a lot of lower body explosive drills utilize the hip hinge. So let me demonstrate what I'm talking about. Generally, when you watch an athlete get ready to jump, that's when they should demonstrate a proper hip hinge, where the hips literally go back, very lightly, slight knee bend, so it's mostly a hip flexion, so that when they take off, they get hip extension. We all have heard the terminology triple extension. Triple extension is used while we're running. Triple extension is used while we're doing hang cleans and a lot of Olympic lifts. Triple extension is used when we jump. But if we don't get into proper flexion mode, it's very hard to do a proper extension. What we see commonly among young athletes is, for example, a kettlebell swing. I see this all the time. Okay? What this basically is a squat with a front raise. Whereas a proper kettlebell swing would be hip hinging and then extending through the hips. Flexing, extending. And that's the same pattern that you would get with jumping, with cleans. Anything that involves hip flexion and extension involves the hip hinge. Now, a couple of cues that I have found to help young athletes with this pattern are either have them stand either 6-8 inches in front of a wall, maybe 6 inches, and just tell them to drop their hips back and hit the wall. Okay? Throw your hips back until you can hit the wall. That's one cue that tends to help. Another cue that I find that helps a lot is I tell them pretend that their hands are full and there's a door behind them and I want them to shut the door with their butt. So basically, if you just say that, you'll see most kids going like that. And that's what they need to feel, that hinge of the hips going back so that they can get forward. Why the hip hinge is important, not only will it help them out in the weight room, but think about a defensive lineman, okay, in football. Think about a linebacker. Think about any athletic movement or any athletic position where you want that initial explosion. If kids aren't learning how to use their glutes, their hamstrings through a proper hip hinge, then they're not going to get the most power, the most force, the most energy out of their body. The hip hinge is something that can be taught very easily. I generally like to start teaching it at a young age. Lots of times kids automatically already have it in them. If you just tell them those cues that I mentioned, they can do it. So by the time they are in middle school and even high school, and they spend more time in the weight room, they'll be doing things properly. George Maori, Athletic Revolution. Hope you all had a great day.